welcome to the Fade Talk. What is the future of black theater for you wonderful black men here?
Well, I was talking to Mr. Meloncon earlier, and he made a very, very good point. Matt, let's hear from Mr. Meloncon.
Well, I think that we, with technology, with the social media, with artificial intelligence, we're hoping that black theater, I'm optimistic that we'll be around, but we have to make sure that we don't lose the interest of the next generation of kids who have been who become immune to theater and more leaning toward. That's the question. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they have so much technology in their hand that the phone itself becomes a substitute for theater.
You know, something that you said earlier really stood out to me. She said that the stage is our last frontier. You know, because everything is playing out on social media. You know, and of course the majority of it is drama, right? Because drama makes for good reality TV, so to speak. And but that stood out, and I agree with you 100%. It's so important. It's so important to get our young kids out to theater. You know, a lot of times they're not seeing plays until they're adults, you know, if they're not going to college for it, you know. And so I think if it's introduced to them at a younger age, just like myself, I wasn't really introduced to the stage until I was a young adult, you know. But if it's introduced to them at a younger age, I think the longevity, I think, you know, it continues to move forward, you know, and so and I think that's on us as well, you know, just like it's on us to teach our children Black history. If not us, who, right?
Right. You know, I'm very fortunate because I had the benefit of superior education. So,
and you lost it somewhere along the way.
I was like, well, I clearly didn't do nothing with my education then, since yours was that superior.
No, but you know, I grew up in Jamaica, and we didn't have electricity or any modern things in our homes. So we had this thing called the National Pantomime, and every year they'd bus us down to Ward Theater in Kingston to see live theater. That started when we were little tots. So that kind of stayed with me. But one of the most profound things that happened to me, there was a gentleman by the name of Trevor Rohn. He was an alum of my high school, St. Jacob High School, and he had just come back from London, and he did Hamlet's soliloquy. And I saw that tall, regal man dressed in black doing that up there, and I saw all the women, all the young ladies in the theater just enraptured, and I said, oh yes, that's what I'll be doing. If I could just get handsome overnight, I'm cool, I'm done. You know? I'm tall too, you know. So
half the battle is won.
But seriously, for the future, for this to happen, it's just like with my children, I brought them to the theater, I brought them up in the theater, and I always said, look, you might not become actors, but I want you to be good theater patrons. Not only do I want you to go see a play, I want you to donate to that theater. Okay? You don't have to have money, you could donate your time and all that. Right. And one of the mechanisms we have now with the Fade to Black, you know, is for us to see some of the young playwrights who are churning out plays. We've had over a couple of hundred plays come to us, and these are young folk who are writing these things, and if they could instill some of these things in their children, and Mr. Meloncon, you're a professor, so you have your hands in the pudding, you know, so you are able to cultivate these young people. Now, you know, most of our theater mates who we perform with are also teachers, so they continue to cultivate, and that's how we can do it to keep it going.
My daughters, my baby girls are 12 and 14, and so I give them spring break, summer break, winter break, and I had them this past summer, and I was in a production at the Ensemble Theater, and so I would bring them to rehearsal with me, let them see the show. But when they got to rehearsal, they thought they were going to be in them tablets the whole time. Nope, give me the tablet, and I want you to tell me afterwards what went on in these scenes.
Write me a book report.
That's right. And so they came to the show, and they ended up loving it. So I'm about to start rehearsals tomorrow for another production, and I have them.
Shout out piano lesson at the Ensemble. Curtis Vaughn and the piano, Thee, Curtis, Thee Vaughn,
Knock it off.
the piano lesson.
But I have my girls during Christmas break, and so once again they'll get to come to me with me to these rehearsals, and I'm excited about that because it opens their world and their mind up a lot more, So now they'll be introduced to August Wilson.
I truly agree with that. Like in my mind, the future of black theater, it does. I have to say it rests in our hands, or at least my generation hands, or the generations after mine. And what I have learned as a young actor is that the people who come before me hold so much more of the tradition and the culture of what black theater is and those black stories. But we are the people who are going to carry that forward into the future. So with the mix of my generation and the knowledge of artistry and theater with the stories and the culture that you guys give to us, there is no stopping of the future of black theater. But when those two are disconnected, as we usually feel like we are, as a young kid and you talk to us you don't get this or you'll get it later. It's that small disconnect of being able to connect those two things with the stories and the tradition with the people who are actually going to carry that. I believe if we can connect those two in harmony, there is no end for it.
I'm glad you brought that up because sometimes it takes someone to take a real talented person that they see who's fooling around with that talent and straighten them out. You got to call somebody up every now and again and say, kid,
maybe the guilty shall speak first, but who might you be talking about? Who might you be talking about there, Errol?
But that
sounds oddly familiar.
And you guys hit the nail on the head, because it is our responsibility, to pass that down, especially to when we see someone who has it. For me, it was Mr. Clarence Whitmore. It was Franklin Anderson. It was Mr. Vappy. It was gentlemen like that saw that talent and helped to nurture it. Jimmy Jacob. But I got to keep moving. And so I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to those giants to pass that knowledge down to me. And now I have a responsibility to continue to pass that down to the next generation of actors.
Well, the thing is, you probably knew these cats along the way. The person I'm talking about didn't know me from Adam. So when I pulled him in the corner, I said, listen, come on, man, what are you doing? You got all this talent. There were some of the words that I used that rhyme with truck, but I won't use those.
Sure, with such a grand education.
Exactly.
Or autocorrect on your iPhone, duck. Quack.
Yeah. So, since we don't have a lot of time, can you wrap this up and tell the people who Mr. Wilks is talking about?
I think that story may be about me. It could be about anybody else, but I just remember allegedly. I remember those words coming my way at one point in time. But as a young artist, like I say, as a young artist, not really knowledgeable of what it is or the culture or tradition around how theater. I'm just operating as myself. Very boisterous, and I just said, Errol pulled me to the corner and he was like, hey, man, I don't know you that well, but I see a lot of talent inside of you, and I don't know what you plan on doing with it, what you want to do with it, but I'm just want to personally tell you, it may not mean anything to you, but if you get your stuff together, maybe.
And now look at you.
Exactly.
But I think the future. I think the future is in great hands. I really do, because I see great individuals at the forefront. Mr. Meloncon, he's in the driver's seat, teaching students every day over at Texas Southern.
Amen.
And I'm grateful. One of those students happens to be my daughter.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm so thrilled. It's actually come full circle. And so I'm appreciative of that. I know she's in great hands, and because of that, I think the future of black theater is in great hands, and we're going to thrive just fine.
In that future, I do have a question. This is my pressing issue is that the future of black theater seems bright, but the question is, how do we get the people like me in the seats. Like that's the hardest part to do, right? I don't know if that has to do with like the choices of shows, but you know what I mean? Just something that connects to the younger people in a better version. Like I personally don't mind history. Like when I go watch a play or a movie that's based in like the 30s or the 20s, like I get excited about that. You know, most people my age and younger, they aren't that inclined.
I think it's the packaging. It's the promo.
Yeah.
You know, I think the way we're speaking about social media being divisive, as you know, as far as that being their go-to, I think we also have to be smart and wise to use the social media platform to help to promote these things. So it's the packaging of it that's going to grab their attention.
Like you said, no iPads.
That's right.
No iPads.
Right. So sometimes you have to fight fire with fire, right? So we'll get some of the younger generation who are wizards at this social media thing to come up with innovative ideas to package black theater to make it more, you know, to draw the attention of the younger viewer. So I think that's where it lies at, because how else are we going to reach them? We know they have this in their hands almost 24/7, right? Okay, but then we come up with a plan to
infiltrate that.
There you go.
I agree with that.
Well, I don't know if there's anything else left to be said, except that we need to follow the examples of what we're setting for each other, and you know, impart that to the young people. And I'm sure you have something else to say about the wonderful people who have given us this venue today.
I can't say many thank yous enough to Stages Repertory Theater for being involved in Fade to Black in many capacities, joining in Fade to Black in the 2025 Play Festival, and you know, offering their wonderful facilities for us to keep the dream alive, keep the movement going. And once again, thank you, Errol Wilks, Curtis Devon, Dr. Thomas Meloncon. Thank y'all so much for joining the Fade
you for
Talks.
having us.
You know, I'm glad y'all here. We're gonna keep it moving, and I'm sure that anything that happens in Fade to Black, I will be seeing your wonderful faces again very, very soon.
Absolutely.
So thank y'all.
A pleasure.
What about me?
I'm just saying.
Oh well, I guess I'm Brandon. I'm like, what is it? Corey, cut that out.